Hi guys, welcome back. You like my steampunk pumpkin? A friend of mine had one of those and I'm like, I've got to get that. That is super cool. And it changes colors. It's got like bolts for his ears. And wheels and cogs and stuff. I love the little wrench for his nose. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing a review of The Coldest Girl in Coldtown by Holly Black. This is a YA paranormal romance, and I just finished listening to it on an audiobook from audible.com. This is my first download from them, and it was like my free book I got to pick. And I thought, why not? I'll try this one. I read Doll Bones by Holly Black before, and I really enjoyed that one, and this is only the second book I've quote-unquote read from her. So this book is set in a world where vampirism is sort of a disease, and it took me a while to wrap my head around the whole unique way that Miss Black kind of treats the whole vampire world. If you are bitten, you become infected, but you're not necessarily infectious. So this infection will last within you within 88 days, and it'll pass from the body if and only if you do not drink human blood. Because if you drink the human blood, then you turn and you become a vampire. Of course, if you are a vampire, you are infectious and can spread the disease. No one has ever really lasted the 88 days, though, because the cravings for blood is so strong. Now, in this world, in this book, rather, it begins pretty much with a bang. Our main character, Tana, wakes up in a bathtub after a drunken night of partying, only to find herself surrounded by corpses, and apparently there's been a vampire attack. And it's about midday, and she's kind of panicking that maybe the vampires are still in this house. Now, it's sort of a remote house, and if she were to leave, she might not get to safety in time, and her only choice is to get into her car, but her car keys are like in another room on the other side of the house, so she has to make that, decision to try and get to her keys and hopefully not get attacked in the process. When she does get to the room, the bedroom where her keys are in her coat and everything, she finds her ex-boyfriend there, who's tied up, and he's been bitten, so he's now infected. Also in the room is a vampire who's also tied up, and he's been left there by the other vampires. They have other plans for him. She makes the decision to rescue not only Aiden, but the vampire, whose name is Gabriel. And so she has to basically try and smuggle him out in daylight, so she has to cover him up and everything, throw him in the trunk. And now, because while they're escaping, there is a vampire that happens to catch her in the act of trying to break everybody free, and she does sort of get bitten. She's not sure if it's a complete puncture, so is she now infected or not? She doesn't know. So now there's the three of them: a vampire, a definitely infected boy, and herself, who may be infected. And the only choice they really have to do is to go to Coldtown. Now, cold towns are things that are set up, little towns set up all over the world, and that's where people who are infected or infectious are supposed to go to. Either they're sent there or they report there themselves. This is a very strange world. It's sort of like the whole idea of being a vampire seems to thrill a lot of people. There's almost like reality shows dedicated to the whole world of vampirism in these cold towns. They have cameras set up. They seem to be partying there all the time. They're immortal. It's just one big happy party. And so a lot of these young people almost crave becoming vampires. It's very strange. I love the beginning part of the book. The whole situation with Tana and her boyfriend, it seemed to be situated more, or ex-boyfriend, it seemed to be situated more on them. As the book progresses, her whole decision almost to help rescue Gabriel seems to play an important part later on towards the book. But the book sort of switches focus more on Gabriel and what his ulterior motives are and things throughout the story. And then I kind of lost interest in it a little bit. It seemed to really slow down. The pace just didn't seem to go anywhere. The plot didn't really move forward enough for me, and I started to lose a bit of interest in it. Towards the end, of course, it picks up, and we find out what Gabriel's ulterior motive is, and what ultimately happens with Tana. And it was just, like I said, it was just an okay book. I think I was expecting a lot more from it. I did like the different in the world. I loved the writing style. But the plot itself, I think, lacked a bit in that middle portion of the book, so I was a bit disappointed in it. So overall, I did give this 3 stars on Goodreads. I still would recommend, at least renting it out or listening to it. But it was an interesting story. Just expect that middle part. I think, at least from my point of view, I thought it was a bit, like I said, a bit slow. So that's my review of The Coldest Girl in Coldtown. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked my little pumpkin. I'll have to come up with a good name for him. I haven't thought of anything yet, but if you got any ideas, let me know. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. Happy reading.